All right, and we are back. This is section 6.3 of our Math 212. We are going to be looking at models to represent different word problems. My favorite model is a picture, drawing a picture, and of course equations are next. Equations are, it's a way to model math with symbols. Note here we have a plus sign, and we understand what that plus sign means. That's a model of what we're going to do whenever we need to combine 3 things and 5 things. The plus sign is a form of a model. So here they tell us a model contains many properties of the original object, and it is there are definitions to different models, such as our symbols for mathematics and what those might mean. And it represents the original. It's in some form or fashion a representation of the original. Now here it says that our model can take all kinds of different forms, and it says it can be a graph, table, sketch, equation, words, and then here's different questions to ask. I love models. It's the way that we can solve our word problems. Pictures are my favorites. But here we go. Let's look at this. Let's say Ellen is babysitting. She charges $8 an hour. How much do I determine how much I'm going to pay her? Well, what I like to do is go, okay, what am I looking at? The variables are how much I'm going to pay. So how much to pay. And another variable would be how many hours. Worked. Okay, so if I let, and you just choose your variable somehow, if I let x equal number of hours and P is our pay, it's going to be 8 times the number of hours worked. And that is a model. It's a mathematical model called an equation. And it is still a model of what we've got. Now they asked if it's a function or not. Well, yeah, it is going to be a function. You could draw a little function box and you could say that I put in the number of hours. Inside of here I do 8 times whatever goes in the box. So 8 times x, whatever goes in. And then what comes out is the pay. So I am going to have a relationship between what goes in and what comes out. Let's look at a new word problem. So we've got Jackie. She's got 2 choices here. She can say, we're selling computers, so let's let x be equal to number of computers. Now every time I do a word problem, computers, I always model for my students that I am writing down exactly what x is. So many times when I was a student, I would try to solve these problems so quickly and not write down exactly what x is. And when you don't write down what x is, you get through with a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo and you get down at the answer and it'll say x is 3, and I think to myself, well, I don't know what 3 is. Was it hours? Was it dollars? So if you start at the beginning and you write down exactly what x is, then you've got no doubt, especially if you're trying to do all of these other numbers in here. So I have 2 choices. I have choice 1. I can get $50 for every computer she sells. So 50 times x could be her pay. Or choice 2 could be 250 a week, so she gets $250 no matter what, plus 25 times however many computers she sells, and that could be her pay. Now, looking at the past year, she finds that she averaged 9.3 sales per week. Okay, and she wants to know, which way should she choose? Should she choose choice 1 or choice 2? So let's see what the break even is. So to find the break even, I would say 50x. Where do I break even? To 50 plus 25x. And this is the way I'm going to use these models that I've created to use algebra to solve this. I'm going to subtract 25 from both sides. I'll get 25x equals 250. I'm going to divide both sides by 25, and I'll get that x is 10. So if she sells 10 computers, she breaks even. If she sells 11 computers, which way would be better? Well, I would need to plug that in to see which way is better for one of them. So if I sell, let's say I sell 11. So let's figure out what the pay for choice 1. For choice 1, that would be 50 times 11. For choice 2, that would be 250 plus 25 times 11. I'll need to crunch those numbers, so let me do that. All right, so let's look at it. As long as I'm selling more than 10, so this would be your choice. Oops, this is your choice if sell more than 10. This is going to be your choice if sell less than 10. And cool little problem. So let's see what they've got up next for us. All right, so they say that this is a form of a simultaneous equation, which yes it is. A simultaneous set of equations means that you have two equations and you are solving them in conjunction. That happened whenever we set them equal to each other. That's not readily apparent with what they said here, but that is what they mean. So let's see what they have up next for us. And then they didn't quite finish solving it, but we did. So we're happy about that. So let's look at this solving of simultaneous equations. Right here, 4 apples and 3 cherries cost that much. Okay, so if I was going to do that, I'm going to say let's let x be cost of apples. And let's let y be the cost of cherries. Now when I get finished and I know what x equals and y equals, I'll be able to look back at the top and go, oh, there's what the cost of apples. So I know that 4 times the cost of apples plus, 3 times the cost of cherries, that's y, equals $3.40. And then 3 times apples, so 3 times the cost of apples plus 2 times cherries costs $2.50. And this was where, if you'll remember, we did we have a set of equations and we solved this simultaneously. We either did the addition subtraction method, or we did substitution, or you could use matrices, something of that sort. But there's the setup for this one, which is usually the hard part for students. So let's set up the B part because that's the hard part. The weight of Allie and Ben is 44 kilograms. Blah, 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 blah. Find the weight of all of them. So let's just go A, B, and C. And we'll say A is the weight of Allie. And I'll say B is the weight of Ben. And C is, of course, the weight of Cal. So adding A and B together, oops, that's not an A. Scratch that out. A plus B is going to equal 44. A plus C equals 60. And B plus C equals 54. So this is our setup. And what you would do here is use an addition subtraction method, or you would uh, use matrices or something of that sort to get what A, B, and C are. And once you had A equals B equals C equals, then you would look back at the top and you would say, oh, okay, so this is the weight of whichever person. All right, and that concludes. If you need any help with the algebra on this, be sure and send me an email and I'll continue working through this if you want a refresher review of solving simultaneous equation. Um, no problem with that. I will be glad to send you that solution. All right, and that is the end of 6.3. Pretty quick little section. So I hope you guys will email me if you have any trouble, and I will see you next week.